Welcome back to another Red Hawk Media Virtual Academy. We're up to day 17 here. Putting this together is preparing for another week of online learning here. I wanted to start off first by just giving announcements, updates, and all of that of what you can expect for the week. That way you can kind of look in here and see what's going on in Schoology and make sure that we're all on the same page. So I'm going to send that on over here so we can see this. And here we go. And what we're looking at here for some deadlines that are coming up between digital media, web design, game design, we've all got a little bit something going on in here. So the first thing is Wednesday for digital media, we're going to be working on moving platforms. Moving platforms are another layer of gameplay that'll be necessary for your 2D platform game. Okay, web design, we're looking at a YouTube carousel. A lot of you are coming up with designs for Red Hawk Media that require some kind of way of showing YouTube embedded videos, and this carousel is an easy way to go about doing that. Okay, and then finally, we've got the final build for our 2D game and game design. That is for the game design class. That is all of this week here to prepare your final build. There's a rubric that's attached to that. We'll get more in detail as we go. And then finally, not finally, but we have the Stinger Pack for Digital Media 1. And then also we have the idea that we will be vlogging and video production. Just a vlog of daily life, a week in the quarantine. Okay, and you'll be putting that together. And that's kind of a quick overview of what we've got going on for this week. The other thing that I would point out here is that anytime that you need, I'm available on Google Meet from 11 to noon. If that does not work for you for a time, you can always schedule a meet time with me. Just drop me a message in Schoology or to my Gmail, and we'll get something set up so that I can connect with you and make sure that I'm helping you out with anything that you need. But the link is included on Schoology. Make sure you access that to pop in and get some help here. We're going to get started then, and that's going to take us over to over to digital media. And let me pop over and just put that up so people can kind of follow along where we are in all of the instructional materials here. All right, so back over to here. In digital media, it's already created on Schoology. Your next step is to put moving platforms into your 2D platform game. The moving platforms, you can add this feature onto a number of things. You can add it onto the saws, you can add it onto platforms, you can add it onto anything basically that's going up and down here. The left to right idea, it works a little bit, but it's a little glitchy, so I'll just let you know that. There you can see the character hopping on. Now, all the resources that you need for this are one in this tutorial, so it'll walk you through those steps of how to create this. And two, if you look in the description below here, in the actual tutorial, you'll see that there are links for downloading first the prefab, and then there's also the script that you need to apply to this. Make sure you follow the directions of where to put these things on your particular platform, because it does make a big difference of whether you're putting these on the sprites or on the empty object that will become your moving platform. And you'll see what I'm talking about when you get into that and follow along with that. Again, if you have any issues with that, let me know and we can walk through those. I probably talked to 15-20 people on last Friday, going through a number of different things that they were figuring out with their games. So always feel free to reach out. Okay, that handles digital media 2. That pretty much sums that up. I'm going to hop out of here. Let me close this so I don't come back to it accidentally. And that's going to take us over to web design. Okay, and in web design, we are working right now on that YouTube carousel. So the idea is that you can embed YouTube videos on your Red Hawk Media site. The problem is that they're not very appealing, and it's not easy to like flip through them, and lining them up is kind of a pain in the butt as well. So this is a quick way of going about doing this. Let me bring up this page here as my example page. This is listed on Schoology. I've got the link included there. But basically what we're looking at is we are looking at an iframe. I know it's not a YouTube video, but it is an iframe object, which is the same as a YouTube iframe. And what we've got is we've got the ability to actually flip through these like a carousel. So we're getting more and more, we're getting closer to that idea of like that Netflix layout that a lot of you were going for on the landing page for Red Hawk Media. And I know a lot of you were working on this feature trying to figure out something that would look good for it. This is a great way to go about doing this. Now, you may be wondering, how is this page going to help me? It's got these iframes. It's not YouTube, though. Remember that one of the biggest things that you've got at your disposal here is the ability to hop into the code on different pages. So if I'm looking at this particular page here, and then I go up to my view, and I go into the developer mode, and I go to view source, one of the things it's going to bring up is all of the code that relates to this. So if I take all of this information and I post it into my page, that I'm creating for Red Hawk Media, I can use all of that. Now there is one hiccup in all of this. You will notice if you take a look, and this is getting specific here, you'll notice that most of the styling that goes along with this page is linked to style sheets that are already online. So you can see there's a link to a style sheet here for the CSS. You can see that there's a link here for another style sheet that kind of ties this all together. One of the things that's not included on this, though, is the actual JavaScript. Okay, and they make that a little bit more challenging to get your hands on, but literally it's clicking on a link and then it's going to be some copy and paste. Now, I need this JavaScript included as a separate file on my actual website that I'm putting together. So this would be included in my root folder, and it would be its own file, a .js. In order to get to that, so after I've copied all of my HTML here, I need to get this one in addition to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hop out really quick. I'm going to click on this link, and it's going to take me over to the actual JavaScript. Now this is a lengthy, long JavaScript that we would never want to have to code ourselves. But if I hop in here and I just do a quick Command A, get it all selected, I'm going to copy that, and then I would head on over to my editor, my code editor, create a new page for this, a new JavaScript page, and I would paste that in there and save it as a .js, a JavaScript. And then I would use the link to my new JavaScript in the previous HTML that we saw. So if I back out of this, I go back, I think that opened up a new tab there. If I go back here, and then I update the source here to the actual file that I have in my root folder, this carousel works perfectly. And then I can just go about swapping things out here. So I go down and I can come in here to where the source is. Now this is the first iframe that we're actually seeing. If I come in here and swap this link out with the link from YouTube embed code, so if I hop over to, this is one of my favorite guys that I've been following here, and I go to share, and I go to embed, I can copy all of this, okay, and then I can bring that back to paste into that HTML. So if I come back here, I can paste that in here and drop that all in there. Now I've got a working YouTube carousel that I can flip through the actual videos, and it's way more attractive looking than just lining up all the embed ones separately in there. So that's a great way to go about doing this. I'd like for you to work on that from now till Wednesday. That's your due date on that. Most of you have this incorporated on your Red Hawk Media proposal sites here. So incorporate that, get it working, and then we'll talk more. This would be one of your revisions that you make to your final site before we turn it in here. Okay, excellent. That covers web design here. We're going to move on. Let me get out of here. Again, all of this included on Schoology. You can get to those links there. Let me hop out of this. I am really straining my internet right now. Okay. And that takes us to game design. Okay. For game design, let me look at my notes. I gotta look at this. Oh, for game design, your final game build is due on Sunday of this week. So by 11:59, very end of the week here, before we start next week, your final build of your 2D game is due. Now, to go about building that out, that's kind of what I want to look at here and go through those steps with you. So I'm going to bring up Unity. Um, and in Unity here, I've got my game put together. It's a very simple example of all this, but it's very close to a lot of what you will have. Um, the very first thing is I want to go to my build settings to actually get all of the different scenes that are included in my game into those build settings. So if I go up to File, let me make this full screen so it doesn't look all messy. If I go up to File and I go to Build Settings, okay, and I've tested all this out to make sure that it works out with Schoology all right. What we're going to do is we're going to add in all of the appropriate scenes that go with your game. So if you have the start menu, if you have the level 1, level 2, all of those different things. By the way, the rubric for everything that you need is included on Schoology. It's pretty straightforward with all of the details of what that looks like. You want to make sure that all those things are included before you do the final build of your game. Now I get all those scenes in there. Make sure that they're added in the order that they would be played in, because that's important as well, especially if you have scene indexing for your links to your different levels. Once I get those in there, I'm just going to do a typical PC Mac build, and then I'm going to go down and I'm going to go build, and I can actually do build and run here. Okay, and it's going to ask me where I want to save this. I'm just going to save it to my desktop, and I'm going to do a save, and I'll replace the previous one that I built here because it goes fairly quickly. Maybe. Hopefully it doesn't crash out on me here. All right, so now when it's done building, when you do the build and run, it's actually going to pop up into game form here. I've got my splash screen, I've got my opening menu, should be able to get to my options, should be able to get back, should be able to quit out of this and then open it again. I'm not going to do that right now. And then I can go play, hop into actually level 1, should be able to pause, should be able to get to all the different levels that I'm supposed to. Now, if you're doing this properly, this is why you have all week to make sure that you've got this. You're going to go through and test everything to make sure that it works. Crucial part of game design is the testing. If you want to see, actually, right now, you look at Middleton, you look at Raven Software that's in Middleton. Big company, they work with Activision, and of course they create the Call of Duty franchise. That's what they work on. They have posted jobs right now for game testers. So they go in and they literally go through very specific details, document anything that needs to be updated, any changes. It's very tedious, but it's one of the important things to make sure that your game is running soundly. So now I can hop in here and I can go through my menu, test all that stuff out, go back to my main menu, quit out of this. Okay, so there's my build. I built it all out. Now for turning it in so that we can actually turn it in. What we found is if you turn it in directly to Schoology, it's going to take your file, which is a single file that looks like this. Let me close this so you can see, and let me hop out of here. Okay, minimize this. And this is what your file will actually look like here. It will be an executable file. It'll look exactly like this icon here. And this file, if you try to upload it directly to Schoology, you're going to have some major issues with that. I mean, major issues. It's going to break it up into all the little files that are included in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop over to our Google Drive. We're going to upload it there, and then you're just going to share the link to it with me via Gmail. Okay, so I'm going to hop in here. Let's open up my new tab. Come on up here. Go to my new tab. I'm going to go to, let me put this up full screen so we can see what's going on. Sorry. We're going to go to my Google Drive. Boom. Okay. Once I get in here, I'm going to go to new, and then I'm going to do a single file upload. Okay. So again, it's new and then file upload. Okay. Now, once I've got that, I'm going to navigate to my actual build of my game. Now, I've already actually put this on here once, so I'm not going to do that again while I'm streaming because that could lead to some problems. But we've got the build that's uploaded now. Let me search to that. It is Dark Passage, and there it is. So once I get to this actual file here, what I can do is I can make sure that I can share that to the actual thing. So let's get to this, the actual file itself. Sorry, I'm going in a roundabout way for this. Quick access, it says, but it's not letting me in there. Okay, 1 second. We're going to actually go through the steps here so that it looks right here. File upload. And to my desktop, let's do the one that I just did, my final build. I go open. Okay, at this point, it's going to upload. When it's actually uploaded here, I'm going to be able to click on that, and then I'm going to be able to get a link. Now, while that's actually going on uploading here, we'll go back to the actual working properly with the keys. We got a health system, so we see health bar going up and down. Some people incorporated that not as health, but as attempts. But you've got some kind of system that holds you accountable in there. There's enemies or obstacles that are included in your game as well. At one point, we had worked on an incentive system, so whether it's points, collectibles, achievements, upgrades, all that stuff. And then scene management, it was really important. That's the last, one of the most recent things that we've been working on here. Start menu, we've got the pause menu, we've got an actual windscreen at the end. Those are all some of those confines or constructs of an actual game that makes it like a true game. And then finally, the most recent thing was the music. Adding in level music, sound effects, and all of that. So make sure that you incorporate all these things. Multiple levels of gameplay, whether that's different scenarios, different levels, different quests that you're going on, depending on what your game type is for the 2D build here. And then the final factors here are your fun factor and the overall quality. Now, this is the 100-point assignment. It's a summative. I know that doesn't sound like that much, but our biggest assignment to date was 20 points. Okay, so this is 100 points. It's the summative. It's the big enchilada here. Make sure that you get all of that done, turned in. I'm going to hop back over to Google Drive now that this is actually done here. We're going to go over to the actual file itself. And with that, we can create and share this actual object. So I can, let's see here, more actions. There we go. Share. I could have gone to this before. Okay, go to share. And now I can actually get a shareable link, and then I can email that directly to, you're going to email it directly to me. Now, if you don't want to get the shareable link, you can also go ahead and just type in Tim Hall, and then you can go ahead and add me on there to share that with me directly. And then I'll be able to actually download that one file here and open it up and be able to play your game. So that works out perfectly. I've tried that all out. It's a great way to go ahead and turn in your final build in a small condensed file that'll be manageable. So these are the instructions for building out your game, which is due again at the end of this week. That's Sunday, 11:59. Okay, excellent. I'm going to close some of this stuff up here just to tidy up all of that. And then we are, from this point, moving from game design over to video production. Okay. And in video production, what we're looking for here is we are trying to incorporate vlogging. Okay, so we're working with what we've got available. We've done a cooking show. We did a virtual Red Hawk Talk, which we showed that on last Friday's live stream. Nice job to David and Copen and Riley for participating in that and putting together some quick segments, news, different little bits that they put together. David interviewed Hans about his music. It all looked really good. It was well done. Nice job. Now, aside from that, we did the cooking show, and we're just doing things that we can handle with our cell phones on our own, given the quarantine and some of the constraints that kind of brings into the picture. So our most recent thing that we're working on right now is we are working on a vlog, kind of your week in quarantine. So you're going to be giving regular daily updates of some of the things that you're doing. You'll have all of the different things that are normally included in a vlog. I mean, we're talking about, well, let's see here. I've got it all in the Schoology description, but montage, different daily updates. We've got time lapse, music, title overlays. All of those different things should be included in that. And again, that's on Schoology. All the description for that is there. Now, here is one of my favorites. This is included in Schoology as well. The link is there. Definitely check it out. I've been following this guy for a little, just over the past year or so, and he does a great job. Let me switch over here so you can see this. And one of the things that he does really well is I copied this over here. Is he does a great job of actually going through the details of what's going on. He has basic daily day in the life kind of shots. He's got a lot of different footage of what it is that he follows. This guy's been building a mountain bike course that's literally on the hill slash mountain that he lives on here in Canada, and he does a great job of narrating it. He does time lapse. He does a lot of creative editing with it. He's got music. It creates the whole experience of what his day is like. Here's our time lapse showing different projects that he's working on, all of that. So this is a great example. I invite you to take a look at it. He does a great job of editing it. Funny thing is, this guy used to be a web developer, and he was just riding mountain bikes for leisure and fun. And then this became his thing. He bought that house with YouTube money, actually, from this channel. He has two channels now, and they both are, I believe, they're over 1 million subscribers each. And so he's got a pretty good following here. He's very good at this. So take a look. It'll give you a really good idea of what you're going to be doing throughout the week. Excellent. I'm going to pause there before I get copyrighted for showing all of his content on this live stream here. And then that takes us over. That's it for video production. And that takes us over to digital media. Okay. In digital media, the big thing that you're going to be working on, and I've got that up in the background here, is a stinger pack. Now, we've been practicing right along. We've been practicing all the different features in GarageBand, and now it's to actually apply those skills to something specific. So we created song 1, song 2, song 3, and song 4, and those practice all those different features that were required in each of those. But now we're going to actually create something that's like a real world authentic example of something that would be created with a program like GarageBand. Okay, taking a look at that. This is all on Schoology. The assignment has already been created. You're working on this throughout the week, actually, so it gives you lots of time to kind of spread out your workload here because we want to keep it manageable. But you are creating what's called a stinger pack. Okay, and a stinger pack, just to give you some definition, and I'm going to read to you a little bit here, I'm sorry, but a stinger pack is basically a short clip of music, a pack of short clips of music that can be used to introduce and or link various sections of an audio or audiovisual production. Sometimes they're used on radio, sometimes they're used in TV, sometimes they're used in live streams, all kinds of different productions, but they're always kind of those bridges between different segments of the shows. Okay, so whether you're listening to a podcast or watching something that's episodic on YouTube, these kind of fill in the blanks. They can also be called sounders and can often have voiceover, sound effects, a number of different things can be included in them, but mostly they tend to be like a concentrated bunch of music that's really edited and put together for a very specific amount of time. For instance, you're going to be using GarageBand to create this stinger pack, and one of the ways that we've always used it in the past, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to use it this year for these events, but looking ahead to fall, looking ahead to next winter, I would love to use these because you guys have been creating some wonderful things so far. We usually use them in the Red Hawk Media Live productions. So when we would normally be having like girls soccer right now, or softball or baseball, we would use the loops for that. Since those seasons aren't in play, we're looking ahead to the fall season, and we're talking football, soccer. Now you can create these for pretty much anything, and I usually hold on to them and I take out the best of, and we use them for all of our productions. Best part is these aren't copyright. Okay, so we can use them without getting copyrighted on YouTube. But that's why it says all stingers are 100% homemade in GarageBand, created by combining multiple loops, tracks, sound effects, and voiceovers. Now, you're going to be creating 7 different MP3s, just to be clear, 7. First one is you're going to be creating an intro that's 1 minute long. Then we are creating a commercial break where we are leaving the production and going to commercial. And that's usually a 30-second buffer that we've got to kind of like fade it in or fade it out when we need to. We've got timeouts or breaks, and usually those are short or long timeouts, 15 seconds to 30 seconds. And then we've got halftime. I know halftime doesn't apply to every sport or thing that's listed up there, but again, we would just use it as a transition between different pieces. And then an actual transition piece, which is just 100% on its own, standalone. And then the outro. Okay, so again, that's 7 different music loops here. In GarageBand, this is the actual requirements aside from time. Multiple tracks that you're mixing together. You're combining, overlapping those loops. You've got voiceover, you've got volume automation, so fading in, fading out. Meeting the exact time is going to be one of the important things here, which I'll kind of touch more on tomorrow. And then these all are exported as MP3s, and then they'll be uploaded to Schoology. And there's your track naming conventions as well. So it gives you a really good idea of how you're going to put this all together, how you can upload them. You can hop on and upload them as you get them done, but you're, excuse me, you're basically going to add all of those into your production or into your assignment upload on Schoology. Just keep adding them on right in the same exact place. It'll create a little drop down for me so I can go MP3.1, MP3.2, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that should give you a pretty good idea of what it is that we're looking at here for this week that you are working on. Okay, excellent. Well, that is going to wrap up today's live stream. It was a little bit more information, but I'm going to do a lot of front loading from now on with a lot of this stuff. And that will actually complete this live stream. And we're going to go ahead and just clear all this out. Thanks for joining us for another Red Hawk Media Virtual Academy. This has been day 17 of our online odyssey here during the COVID-19. And I thank all of you for joining me. But if you need, again, any help or anything like that, I'm on Google Meet. Hop on there. Check your Schoology links. You can hop on there, communicate with me there. Otherwise, drop me a message in Schoology. Email me, whatever you need to get a hold of me. If you're struggling with any of this content whatsoever, I invite you to contact me. Thanks again, and we're going to go ahead and send it here. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.